Okay, so in this video we're talking about correlations relating to scatter graphs, and then also how we draw and also use lines of best fit. So the first bit we're going to start with are these three graphs here. So there are three main types of correlation. Okay, you've got negative, you've got positive, and you've got no correlation at all. So if we're going to start with the negative one, that means that when one increases, the other one decreases. Okay, so for example, if we do car prices, once a car becomes older, the price of the car will decrease. Okay, so a newer car is worth much more than a car that is 5 to 10 years old. Okay, positive correlation means that they're both going to get bigger at the same time. Okay, so for example, the older that a child gets, the taller that they'll become. Okay, because obviously when you get older as a child, you will grow and become taller. Okay, then we've got no correlation. That means that there is no link between the two things that you've plotted. So for example, there is no link between your hair length and your IQ, so how clever you are. Okay, there's no link at all. So they're just the three things you need to remember. So that's just visual. On top of that, we have a thing called a line of best fit. Okay, now a line of best fit is just a straight line that best represents the scatter graphs. So I'm going to draw a line of best fit on the other three first. I just want to read this next bit. So to be able to draw a line of best fit, okay, one, it has to be a straight line, obviously. Secondly, it can cross through some of the points, but the aim is that it has to be an even number of points on either side, give or take. Like if obviously you've got 7 points, you can't have 4 on both sides, that would be impossible. Okay, so I'm going to do the line of best fit for these three graphs here. So one thing, you are going to need a ruler. I'm going to do a highlighter just so that you can see it a little bit better. So when we draw a line of best fit, we want obviously an even number of points on either side. So for example, we couldn't do it like that because that doesn't really show the trend. We can see that when the age is very low, the price is very high, and we can see the older it gets, the price decreases. So that means the line is going to be going in that direction. Okay, I've just got to try and get the right number of points on either side. So if I drew a line there, you can see I've got 3 on this side, and you've got 3 on that side, and 2 will actually be on the line. Okay, so I'm going to just draw the line like that. So that'll be my line of best fit. Okay, so for the next one, again, we can obviously see that when a child gets older, the height does get bigger. So that means that the line's going to be going in this direction. Okay, so again, just sort of move it around. I always put the ruler like this just so you can see it. I'll move it down a little bit. Okay, so you can see the points on either side. So I'm going to draw the line down there. Yeah, I think about there would be accurate. Okay, now everyone's line of best fit will be slightly different. Obviously not everyone's is going to be exactly the same. Okay, but as long as you've got the rule that 1, it's straight, and 2, you've got roughly the same number of points on either side, then you'll be fine. Now, a no correlation does not have a line of best fit. Okay, so we'll just leave it plain as it is. Okay, so we're going to start doing an example now. Okay, so sometimes these graphs won't already be drawn, but obviously I've been quite nice and I don't want to make the videos too long. So this one's already drawn for us, and we're told what it is. So this scatter graph shows the amount of calories compared to the number of grams of fat. So these are different foods that you can have, and I've just plotted how many calories they are with how many grams of fat they have. Okay, now if we look at the point, we can see that the more grams of fat that you have, the higher the calories. Okay, so this is going to be from above our positive correlation, because you can see when that goes bigger, so does that. Okay, same with this. The more grams of fat, the more calories. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just draw a line of best fit. Okay, again, you need to get your ruler. I'm going to go for there because that's roughly okay. So you can see it does go through quite a few of the points. So we've got a couple there, couple there. Okay, but we roughly have the same on each side. So the first question it asks is, what is the correlation? So this is going to be a positive correlation. Okay, now you can be even more accurate with it. So you can have weak and strong positive correlations. So because if you notice all the points are very close to the line that I've drawn, we could call that a strong positive correlation. Okay, whereas if you looked at the one above, those points aren't necessarily as close to the line, so that could be classed as a weak positive correlation. Okay, but at the moment we're just going to focus on positive or negative or no correlation. Okay, the next question. So this is going to be how we use the line of best fit. Okay, so if there are 300 calories in this food, how many grams of fat are there? Okay, so what we do is, one, you need to get a ruler again. We need to find where 300 calories is on the graph. Okay, now down this side here, the y-axis, we can see the calories of each food, and down here is 300 calories. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line. I'll do it in blue so you can see it. So I'm going to draw a line from the 300 until it hits my line of best fit. So I'm going to draw it and then stop when it's hit the line of best fit. Okay, then I'm going to go straight down, and that's going to tell me then how many grams of fat that will be. Okay, so it's halfway between 8 and 10, so that's going to be 9 grams of fat. Okay, now obviously other people might get a different, so if you've done a different line of best fit, yours might be maybe 8 grams or 10 grams. Okay, but roughly it should be around 9. Okay, and then for the next one, I'll do this one in red just so you can see it, and it's different to this one. So it's a similar idea. So we know that some type of food has 20 grams of fat. We need to see how many calories they are. So we look at where the fat is on the bottom. 20 grams of fat is here. So again, I'm going to draw a line from the bottom until it hits my line of best fit. Okay, once it's done that, I can then draw a line going across and then see how many calories that is. Okay, now I can't tell exactly how many calories that is, so you are allowed to estimate a little bit. I know that halfway here must be half between 450 and 400, so that would be 425, and it's probably about halfway through that, so I'm going to go for 410 calories. Okay, they will give you a range of answers. They could say, oh, it needs to be between 400 and 425, for example. Okay, but that is the method. The method is more what I'm going to be focusing on. Okay, I'm just going to move to EG2. Again, they've drawn it for you, which is quite nice. Okay, so this shows the cost of cars and their age. So very similar to the top graphs that I showed you earlier with the correlations. Again, we can see that when a car is very young, so when it's only when it's not aged at all, it's a very high price, whereas the older it gets, the price decreases. So again, the first thing I want to do is draw a line of best fit. I'm going to do it in blue this time. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to draw my line like that. Okay. Okay, now I could have drawn it a little bit more like that, I guess. Okay, but I've still got the right points. I've got 4 on the line, then I've got 4 on one side and 3 on the other. Okay, so it's an odd number of points, which is a bit irritating, but hey. So first question is, what is the correlation? Well, this graph goes downwards, a bit like the negative one that we had here. So that means it's going to be a negative correlation. Okay, Again, next question is very similar to the second parts of the other one. So if a car is 4 years old, how much is it worth? Okay, so again, I'm going to get my ruler. Okay, I'm going to go to 4 years, which is down here. Okay, so I draw a line from the 4 up to the line of best fit. Once I've done that, I can then go across and then see the price. So it's 10. Make sure you read the axes though. It isn't £10, it's £10,000. Okay, so £10,000.